everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sonia and I teach the skill strength class on a Monday, Wednesday evening and a Sunday morning. Obviously a lot of you have been doing the classes with me for a little while now, but some of you unfortunately signed up and didn't even get one session. I think the Sunday guys, you haven't had a session yet. So what I thought I'd do is put together this video just going through all the exercises that we're going to be doing in our circuit this term. So for any of you that haven't managed to have a class yet, and those of you that have, we'll go through the exercises. So when we get back to the gym, we all know what we're doing, we all know the main teaching points, and you can give it a go at home as well. So if you want to do this as a little circuit at home, obviously we do have some equipment at the gym that you might not have at home. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through each exercise, I'll give you an alternative that you could do at home, and what you can do is watch the video, pause it to do your thing, and then start it again for the next exercise. And obviously the bonus of it as well is you can rewind me and watch it again if you're not quite getting the exercise. I'll also try and give an easier version and a harder version for those of you that need it. Okay? So before we start, you do need to do a quick warm-up. So please make sure you've warmed up and you've done a quick stretch. All right, if you need any help with that, there are plenty of exercise videos that I did in the last lockdown that you'll be able to access from my YouTube. All right, and I'll put that link in the email to mums. All right, so if you want to go and do a warm-up and then come back to me, that'll be perfect. So what we normally do in the class is we do a circuit of 12 exercises. We do a minute of each exercise, and then we have a 20-second break. All right, so if you want to join in and do it as a circuit, that's what you need to do. You need to do a minute's worth of whatever the exercise is, and then you have a 20-second break. And what I try and do is I put the exercises in an order so that you're not working on the same body part twice in a row. You will work on it more than once, but you won't work on the same thing twice in a row. So make sure you do the exercises in the order stated so that you get that recovery before you do something on that piece of that body part again. All right, so first exercise we're doing is kneel hops. Okay, now in our last circuit, we did rock stand-ups working on our legs. All right, so that we're not doing that this time, we're doing kneel hops. Okay, so kneel hops, you start on one knee with one knee behind. As you can see, there's quite a big gap between my knee and my foot. Okay, now that's harder. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can bring your foot in closer. Now this knee behind is the one that's going to do all the moving. This leg is the one doing all the work. Okay, so the one that with the foot on the floor is the one that you're really working on. Okay, and what you're going to do, you're going to do 10 on one leg before swapping to the other leg. All right, so the movement is arms are down. As you go up, the arms go up, and as you go up and your arms go up, your knee that you're on goes up. Okay, so you're going to go up and then back, up and then back. And as you can see, my knee is just touching the floor. I'm not crashing onto my knee. Okay, so when I've done 10, I'll switch to the other side, and it's the same thing. So the knee that's down swings through, arms swing up. So it's like everything moves up together, down together, up together, down together. Okay, so you do 10, 10, and keep going for a minute. Exercise number 2. Now this one is on the bars. All right, so if you've got a bar at home, you can do this one. You're hanging on the bar. Right, so I've just run upstairs to show you this exercise. We've got a bar, as you can see above my head, in a door frame, which I'm sure some of you might have at home, or you might have a bar outside or a climbing frame or something you can hang on. But please make sure whatever it is you're going to hang on, if you're going to try this one, that it will not fall. All right, so please check with mums or dads or whoever's with you that whatever you're about to hang on isn't going to break away from the wall as you hang on it. All right, please be super careful. All right, so for this exercise, remember we're going to hang. Now this bar, I can't quite hang completely straight, which is most of you lot when we're back at the gym. All right, so this one's quite a good example. So we hang and then legs can just go out in front. So I've got my legs straight out in front of me and I'm lifting one leg. That's as high as I can go, but some of you guys are super bendy, so you might be able to get your foot right up to the bar. All right, so from that position, just gonna switch and just keep switching. All right, so my legs switch in the air. So I'm not taking a leg down and then lifting the other, it's a switch. Okay, but my other leg, which you can't see because the camera angle won't allow, is touching the mat, it's touching the floor each time. You could probably hear a little bang as my foot hit the floor. All right, that's exactly what we want. The faster you can go, the better. Super work. Okay, now if you're at home and you haven't got a bar, you can change this one to handstand switches. All right, so all that is you're gonna obviously make sure you've got space around you for this one. Your hands are going to go on the mat and you're going to switch your legs sort of in a handstand, but you're not ever going up to a handstand. So your hands go down and then you switch and then you switch. Okay, so you're just keep switching those legs.
Exercise number 3 is pike or straddle holds. All right, so for this one, if you're going to do pike, you need 2 platforms of a similar or the same height. If you're going to do straddle, you only need 1 platform. So depending on what you've got at home, will depend on which exercise you can do. So for the straddle ones, for the pike ones, I'm going to use 2 chairs because I know they're the same height. Now, as before, please make sure that whatever you are going to put your weight on is stable enough for you to put your weight on it. So please ask parents or someone to just check that the chairs aren't going to tip or break. Or any platform that you're using is stable, because you've got to take your full body weight. Okay, so this one is a lift. There's no jumping into this one. You're going to lift up onto your toes. Let's bring those chairs in a little bit. You're going to lift up onto your toes. You take all your weight onto your hands, and then you're going to try and go into your pike lever, or even a Russian, which is when you take your feet up a little bit higher, and then you lift back to a standing position, trying not to bend your knees. Okay, so that's the pike one. Now if you're doing the straddle one, you can do that just on a smaller step, just a kitchen step I've got here, and you just can do this on 1. You put your hands on, you stand, you go up on your tiptoes again, so you're really taking all your weight onto your hands before you start. And you are lifting, lifting, lifting. Remember that chest in position, that mushroom back. You're really using your back, your upper back muscles here. You're pulling in through your core, so you're using your tummy muscles to lift into this position. So you're pulling hard, and if you can, you lift up, right up, right up, right up, and that's when you go into your straddle. And then from there, if you can, you reverse it. I'm not very good at those. Used to be, not anymore. All right, so you lift up, you see if you can lift your bottom right up and get your feet back to where they started. So you just reverse the position. You go down and then you lift back up. All right, if you can do that really easily, you could do it just on the floor. The height of the platform, the higher it is, the easier that one is.
Next one is a nice and easy one. I'm not going to demonstrate this one. Handstand against the wall. All right, and you've got to try and hold it against the wall for that whole 60 seconds. Now, I know some of you can already do that. So if you can hold it, if you can hold that handstand happily against the wall for a whole 60 seconds, you can touch each hand for the 60 seconds instead. So you're in your handstand, you're taking your weight onto one arm and putting the other hand on top. Now, if you can do that one for 60 seconds, you can progress to touching your elbow. And if you can do that one for 60 seconds, you can progress to touching your shoulder. Obviously, this is all in your handstand, all right? Hands just in front, well, next to or just in front of our knees. Need to put our weight onto our legs for this one. Onto our legs, not onto our legs. We need to put our weight onto our hands for this one. So we do not want leaning backwards, all right? You need to lean onto your hands. And then you are lifting your legs 10 times, okay? So it's 10 lifts. When you've done 10, straddle your legs. Not a big straddle, we don't want the splits. Just there's fine. And again, hands just in front of where your knees, if you imagine a line joining your knees, put your hands just in front of that, and it's the same, lifting those legs. So 10 lifts. It's tough, all right? That one is tough, so don't worry if you find it hard. Just bring your hands in a little bit. Whatever you do, try not to lean backwards. You need to keep the weight forwards on your hands. It doesn't matter, even if it's only a teeny weeny lift. That's absolutely fine, all right? So we've got this one, so it's either two legs together, so legs wide, legs together, or we'll do one leg at a time. Now, if we do one leg at a time, we do it in a straddle. We put our hands over one leg, so either side of one knee, just in front if you can. And then you do 10 lifts on that side, and then switch 10 lifts on that side, okay? And then just keep switching for that minute. All right, so it's one or the other, double leg or single leg. Front support walks along the bench. Now, I'm sure none of you have a bench at home, but I'm sure you do have a sofa. All right, so this one we can do on the sofa. The easiest version of this one is to do it in a front support. So front support, feet on the sofa, hands on the floor. Let me show you. So this position, nice and strong, squeezed. Remember, whenever you're doing a front support position, we want that mushroom back. So we want the chest pulled in, we want that rounded shape of the back. We don't want to see the shoulder blades poking out like that. Okay, so always rounded when you're doing that front support shape. Now, if you are happy with that, and you can pull that chest in, you can keep the back nice and flat. Yeah, we don't want to see any archy backs. So if you can keep that strong shape, and you can walk up and down the sofa, so hands and feet move at the same time, so you move up and down the sofa. If you can do that happily, which I know all of you guys who were doing the class prior to lockdown, if you were with me from September, I know all of you guys can do that. You can move on to doing it in a pike position. So you're going to put your hands down and bottom up like this. All right, nice and strong. And then you're going to walk in that position. Okay, and walking back. All right, so by doing it in that position, you are increasing the weight that you're putting through your shoulders, and having that open shoulder position is going to make you lovely and strong here and improve that handstand. Right, next one is wall sits. So, make sure my mat doesn't move. Wall sits, bottom in line with knees. Okay, remember during this one, you can have your squishies or your balled socks in your hands to squish, all right? Because we may as well use that at the same time because your hands are not doing anything. So a bit of squishing going on with a squishy or your balled socks, and you're holding that position. Now, if you find that too easy, you can lift a leg. Count to 10, and then lift the other leg. Count to 10. Our angled handstand. Now again, if you've been doing this with me since September, I know you've got a good shape now. You've got that chest in position, and you can hold that position. So you guys can move on to the next stage. If you're new to the class, I want you to really focus on holding the shape of this one and not moving around. Okay, so basic shape is you walk your feet up. Ooh. And you squeeze that bottom down and you round that back and you just hold it there. All right, now if you can do that, as I said, once you've been doing the class longer with me, you can now think about walking your hands towards the wall. As you walk your hands in, you walk your feet up. So it's done at the same time. So your body shape stays the same. You walk up, say 4 steps, and then you walk back out 4 steps. You walk up 4 steps, you walk back out 4 steps. All right, we're not going right up to flat against the wall. We're staying at an angle all the time. So it's really just slightly out, slightly in. Probably best to keep your socks on, because otherwise your mums and dads will moan that you've got your dirty feet on the wall. Make sure they're clean socks. All right, so in that position, squeeze it strong, make sure you've got that good shape. Walk in a few steps, hold that shape, and walk out a few steps. Hold the shape. Walk in, walk out. Okay, we are on to exercise number 9. So that's V-sits. Remember, in your V-sit, you're going to try and pull that chest in the dish shape before you start. We are doing single, double leg V-sits. So that's your starting position. Pressing that lower back into the mat, making sure it's pressed in the whole time. Okay, and you can take, if you find that easy, you can take your arms above your head, and then you're going to go single leg, that's the other leg, and then double. All right, so we go single, double. Okay, so that's the hardest version. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you keep your arms here in between, so you take your leg up, but keep reaching forwards. Okay, and if you find partway through that your lower back is starting to lift and you're starting to arch a little bit, we really need to keep that squeezed in. You can bend your knees, so you can do more of a crunch. All right, so from that position, you can bring one leg up, take it out, other leg up, take it out, and then both. All right, so that's a teeny bit easier. And you're really pressing that lower back into the mat. So number 10, this is a nice easy one, toe raises. So again, you're going to need a step or something to stand on, something like this. Pop it against the wall so you can use the wall to support yourself. So this one is super slow and controlled, all right? There's no speed to this one at all, and we want to make sure we have full range of movement, pressing right up onto the tiptoes and pushing the heel right, or heels at the same time, pushing them right down as far as they'll go. So you can feel a stretch in your calf muscle as you do this exercise. Okay, so from this position, you're going to press those heels right down and then right up as high as you can. Press it down super hard and right up. So there's no speed, it's all controlled and full range of movement for that exercise. Okay, now we're moving on to a fun one. Now, I'm going to explain the one we do at the gym. Some of you might have a Swiss ball at home, so you'll be able to do this one. If not, I will take you on to an exercise that you can do at home instead. So, with your ball. Now, the easiest way to get into this exercise is to kind of roll over the top. All right, so I'm just going to start back here. You're going to lay on the ball, put your hands down, and you just walk yourself out. From that position, remember, you're pulling your chest in super hard, making that mushroom back position. Now, that in itself can be quite tricky, just holding that position. So if that's where you're at, that's absolutely fine. If you want to give yourself more of a challenge, you are lifting up to a pike shape and then taking it out. Lifting up, taking it out. Okay, so that's the exercise we're working on. If you have not got a ball at home, you can do a similar exercise using your sofa. I'm not going to have the wibbling around situation that you had with the ball. All right, so this one you're going to be a lot more stable. All right, so you won't have to worry about that. So you should be able to do the full exercise if you're using your sofa. So from that position, with your legs on the sofa, you're going to squeeze up and then slide it back. Squeeze up, slide it back. Okay, last exercise. Those of you that did A class before lockdown will remember this one. So we're using a band, all right? So again, if you don't have one, don't panic. I'm going to give you another exercise in a minute to use to do instead. For those of you, if you do have a resistance band at home, now what we were doing at the club is tying one end by looping it, putting it around something and then looping it through so it's attached to something. All right, so we were doing that on the banisters at the gym, but they are metal and they aren't going anywhere. So if you are going to do this with your band tied to something, please be sure that it's not going to flick out or break anything. All right, so make sure you check with mums and dads and aunties or whoever's looking after you at the moment to make sure that whatever you're going to tie your band to is not going to break away. All right, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it under my feet. Okay, so I'm going to put my band under my feet And then I'm going to hold the band a little bit wider, because if I hold it here to get hands together, it's not going to give me enough resistance. Okay, so I'm going to hold the band a little bit apart to shorten it, but then I'm going to put my hands together. All right, and this is an upright row. Okay, so what you're going to do is, with your hands together and your fists in that position, you're going to pull your shoulders back and down, so you're really squeezing those shoulder blades together, and your elbows are going to lead in a row movement up to that position and then slowly down. All right, so make sure when you're holding the band, you've got a teeny bit of resistance on there already. All right, not too much, but just enough. Okay, so you just take it up, elbows high. So as you can see, my fists are below my chin. All right, I'm not covering my face. So if you get to that position and think, oh, you know what, I can't really feel much there. So you are just going to take your band a teeny bit wider before you do your next one. All right, now your body position when you're doing this is really fixed. All right, that means I don't want to see any movement of your body apart from those arms. All right, and we will be using the muscles in our upper back for this row. So you'll really feel those shoulder blades squeezing together as you row up. So when you do it, as I said, shoulders back and down, because we don't want to lift the shoulders, it's the elbows that are going up. We hold that position, strong squeeze in your butt. Elbows go high and then lower down. Again, this one is a slow, controlled one, just like those toe raises. There's no speed in this, okay? It's slow and controlled. Another temptation in this exercise is to let the back go and lean, especially if you've got your band tied to something in front of you, all right? So make sure as you lift, you are strong in your shape. Okay, your elbows go above your ears in that position. Your bottom is squeezed, your tummy is squeezed. All right, so all of this area will be working. I'll just show you one more time. So shoulders back and down, good position, and lift. And every time you do the next one, make sure those shoulders are down again, because otherwise you're going to end up like this, pulling those shoulders up. We don't want that. All right, we always want those shoulders back and down, and the elbows come up in front of us. Okay, so if you don't have a resistance band, it's really easy to change this one. All right, you just need a weight instead, because you're going to lift a weight rather than pull on the resistance of the band. So the best thing to use is a rucksack, because it's got a nice handy handle at the top so that you can hold. You can fill your rucksack with books. We sometimes use blocks of wood, whatever suits you. Have a little go, keep switching the weight, see what works, because you want to be able to feel the weight, but you don't want it so hard that towards the end of the minute you're literally dying. Okay, but everything else is pretty much the same. You're going to roll your shoulders back and down, arms in front of you here, and you're lifting, elbows higher, hands lower than your chin and down. And the same side on, you'll see, squeezing here, strong tummy, there's no movement going on, it's all nice and controlled, shoulders back and down, elbows high and lower down. So your weight or your bag is literally just sliding up and down your body, all right, as you do it. And that is the last exercise. So that's your 12 exercises that we're going to be doing back at the club when we start our classes again. As I said, you can do them all, one after the other, for a minute for each thing, all right? And take a 20-second rest in between each one, so you've got a little rest in between before you do the next exercise. And when you're all done, make sure you do a nice stretch again, all right? Stretch off all those muscles that you've been using. Hopefully we can get back in the gym really soon, so I'll see you all then. Bye.